voice of your Fighting Tigers, Chris Blair.
Good evening, Tiger fans, and welcome in to this week's show. Thank everybody for coming out here at TJ Ribs and wherever you are tonight listening. What a great Saturday morning and afternoon in Death Valley. The 20th ranked Florida Gators came in, and the Tigers came out firing and outpaced the Gators en route to a 49-42 thrilling victory to make it 3 in a row over the team from Gainesville. The Tigers ran all over Florida for its highest output of the year. Ty Davis-Price, the junior from Baton Rouge, set a new single-game rushing record, 287 yards on 36 carries, 3 touchdowns. Max Johnson found Gray Jenkins on 3 occasions as well through the air, and LSU picks up a huge win. They moved to 2-2 in the SEC. Tonight we're going to look back at the Florida victory. Then we're going to look ahead to the matchup coming up this weekend as the Tigers will take on Ole Miss in Oxford. It's Wednesday night, and for the next hour we're talking Fighting Tigers football. Coach Joe going to join us next after this quick break right here on the LSU Sports. Oh, a lot of love here. Great crowd. I need you to join me in welcoming our head football coach, Orgeron. Coach, congratulations on the win, and I want to thank you. I know I ended the show last week, and I asked just one humble request. Go and beat the Florida Gators. You were able to do that, winning 3 in a row over Florida. I know it was a total team victory, but again, congratulations. A hell of a day at Tigers Stadium.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to our fans. Most of all, happy to our players. Our players, like I said, practiced hard last week. They wanted to win. They wanted to represent the personal goals. We knew it was going to be a fight. It was a fight. We wanted it in. And you know what? We played with a physical style. So proud of Ty Davis-Price, the game that he had. The offensive line blocked very well. The 4 turnovers on defense was the key to the game.
You know, I was watching as the game was going on from there in the booth, and I kept thinking about what you said early in the week. You said it Monday in the press conference. You said it right here at TJ Ribs on Wednesday night. You said it even before the game on Saturday. You said, hey, it feels like our guys are locked in. We're going to win this football game. What was it that, if you can share with us, that you saw or you felt that maybe everybody else in the country, except for these fans here and Tiger fans across the country, that you knew nobody else knew?
Yeah, I just felt like 4 days in a row we had great practices. And we were very sharp. We made very few mental errors. Listening to our guys talk, they had a lot of pep in their step. They wanted to beat Florida. They were not very pleased with the performance against Kentucky. We had a bad taste in our mouth that we wanted to get rid of.
You know, I don't get a lot of time to, or a lot of chances to watch the team walk down the hill, but I happened to on Saturday, and it really appeared to me that the team had a real sense of urgency. I mean, they were coming down. They looked like they were on a mission. They went into the locker room. I remember when you guys came out of the chute before kickoff, it just seemed like they were ready to go, and as it turned out, they weren't.
You know, early morning game, we have a call-out session at about 7:30 in the morning where we make substitutions, stuff like that. Those guys were fired up at 7:30 in the morning. Our coaches have done a great job of preparing our guys. It was a total team effort.
I told somebody after the game, I said, it really felt like the coach had to have this game at 11 a.m. because the guys were going to explode. They were ready to go. It didn't matter what time it started.
I want to thank all the guys, all our great fans for the Tiger Walk. The Tiger Walk was electric. And sometimes in the game, our fans were very loud. I think it affected the way the Florida Gators played.
You know, I don't know what the actual numbers were of people in the seats, but I do know on the first scoring drive for LSU, and certainly on Micah Baskerville's interception on the tip drill, that place was loud.
Felt good. Tiger Stadium, electricity, felt good.
No doubt the Gators champ in 2019 and that great win by LSU. And it occurred to me today, it's fast becoming a tradition in all places, Tiger Stadium by LSU fans. They were able to do it again on this past Saturday, and for me, it's just an absolute thing of beauty.
You know, our players love it, our fans love it. It was good to see them having fun.
All right, fans, we got much more to come here with Coach O tonight. We'll continue to talk about the win, 49-42 over the Florida Gators. Later preparation this week and a scouting report on the Ole Miss Rebels. Tigers and Ole Miss getting together in Oxford this coming Saturday with kickoff at 2:39 Central Time. So stay with us. Back right after. Tigers coming off a big win over Florida, 49-42. They get set to take on Ole Miss this coming Saturday, 2:39 in Oxford. Tiger fans, get ready to taste victory with the new Victory Grills from Barbecue Guys. Get your Victory Grill today. Become a backyard barbecue champ only at barbecueguys.com. That's bbqguys.com. Coach, let's jump into the game last week. A couple of things to start with. Defensively, gotta ask what the game plan was to attack, knowing that the threat of Florida to run the football and run the football effectively, but sometimes knowing that Dan Mullen, he will sometimes try and go a different way, which early on the Gators were going to sit back there trying to throw the football. Did you adjust any of the game plan based on what they were doing early, or did you just say, hey guys, we're going to play what we're doing and trust if they're going to put the ball in the air, we can win those battles?
No question, we were ready for the run and the pass. We think having Glenn Logan back helped us on the inside. They could run the ball in the middle. But we had to have eye discipline with our defensive backs and our linebackers. We couldn't always play action passes and the wheel routes. And for the most part, they did a great job.
You know, the storyline nationally, and it was on the ESPN television call, which I went back and watched on Sunday, LSU is depleted defensively, especially up front and on the back end. That's the story. I have to believe, in and of itself, that helped motivate guys like that you were counting on. Dwight McLaughlin, Cordell Flott, Jay Ward, Cam Lewis, and newcomer Sage Ryan, who made his debut. Those guys really played well. They had good coverage against some pretty good receivers and a good Florida offense.
Next man up, they were anxious to prove themselves. Sage Ryan had an excellent game. Moving Cordell Flott to corner. He was very happy that he got to play corner the next corner. Those guys did very well.
A little more experience for some of those guys, obviously, on a big stage, in a big game, an SEC battle. How did you see their performance in the line of fire from both the sidelines as the game was going on, and then when you went back and broke down the film?
I felt that we was always under control. I felt like our coaches did a tremendous job. That we made some mistakes. When we came to the sideline, we fixed them. Our guys felt the whole time we were wonderful.
You said it earlier, it was great to have Glenn Logan back. He's talented, he's strong, obviously experienced for the Tigers. And it really was cool to watch he and Neil Farrell Jr. in the middle of that defensive front combine to play their best game as individuals, but certainly as a combo there up front for you.
You know, they've been best friends. They've played for 4 years. Having Glenn Logan back gave Neil Farrell confidence. Neil Farrell had his best game. You watched the first play, he goes that guard up, he gets a tremendous play. For the whole game, I thought he was a big possibility to MVP the game the way he played on defense.
No doubt about it. You had 3 sacks, but pressure all day long by your Tiger defense. And I wanted to talk about the linebackers a little bit because, you know, there were some clean pockets for Florida throughout the day, to be sure, for both Emory Jones and Anthony Richardson, who played at quarterback. But it looked as though that the early pressure kind of got them uncomfortable. They never got settled. Even when they had those clean pockets and even when they had time to scan the field, there was a lot of happy feet by the Gators in the pocket.
I thought BJ was hilarious. BJ Smith was a tremendous recruiter. One of BJ had some outstanding sacks, some outstanding pressure against weakness tackle number 1. Mason had some outstanding pressure on the edge.
Coach, last week I was kind of asking you about the linebacking core. I talked about Damone Clark and how well he has played, and you kind of set me straight. You said, hey, you know, overall our linebackers have played very well this year. Micah Baskerville included. Last week they had consistent pressure from your front line. It allowed them to really make plays against +1 going into the game in the turnover margin. You get 4 interceptions, as you say, and you know. Going back and watching the film, Coach, it was like every time there was an interception, it was a huge moment. If it doesn't happen, the game could go a different way. But the one I wanted to talk about that maybe was the biggest play of the game, Dwight McLaughlin put into actions at corner. You're without Eli Rich, you're without Derek Stingley Jr. He goes in there. They get the Hail Mary to end the first half. I know it's not what you wanted to see. You wanted a 2-score lead going into halftime. Now it's a 1-score game. But boy, oh boy, that was completely erased by what he did in the opening drive for Florida with the pick 6.
Well, Corey Ravens wasn't happy going in halftime. There was a lot of butt chewing going on in the half, and those guys came out the second half. We knew we had to start fast. White, excellent corner, 6'2". Great young man. I'm glad he's getting all these snaps this year as a young player. Watch out a couple of years, but I think he has a chance to get the first first round draft choice.
No doubt about it. We've got another break coming up. Before we go to break, let's go to the phone lines. I know one guy that was happy about Saturday, maybe even more so than I was, Coach. Keaton in Birmingham. Keaton, you're on with Coach O. Keaton, you still there?
What's up, Coach O?
What's up, Keith?
Yes, sir. Indeed, Mr. Blair. I was indeed ecstatic. I was actually watching the game with my cousin in Atlanta who played for Florida on that 06 team. He was mighty quiet. He was mighty quiet after the game. It was a lovely weekend, Coach. But it's another weekend coming up. And, Lane Kiffin likes to go for it a lot on fourth down.
Yep.
So I'm really interested, the story of the week was how well the team was practicing and how much juice they had. I'm really interested to know how much juice they had this week because, yes, sir, indeed, y'all have found something in that running game, and I know it's going to be, we're going to see that again on this Saturday.
Yes, we understand the task at hand, but we have the utmost respect for Lane Kiffin and his football team. They're a very good football team, but you know what? Our team is gaining confidence in running the football, stopping the run. We've got some guys back up front that are healthy on the offensive line, and they're confident that they can run the football. They're going to have to run the football this Saturday to keep the ball away from his offense.
No doubt about it. Keaton, thanks for the call, and we're going to take a quick break. We come back. We got to talk a little bit of the offense. They played pretty well on Saturday as well in the 49-42 victory over Florida. So we got more to come as we continue right after this. It's the Orgeron Show live from TJ Ridge. 49-42. That was the final score. LSU beat Florida on Saturday at Tiger Stadium. You can clap. You can make more noise than that. LSU beat Florida 49-42. Coach, before we talk about the offense, because we haven't yet, for the most part, just a little bit about tight end Price. Dwayne from Cutoff, Louisiana, wrote in today via the LSU Sports mobile app. He wanted to ask, he noticed or he thought that Mason Smith didn't get as much playing time in the second half against Florida. I'll be honest with you, I was so busy celebrating all the touchdowns, I didn't notice that. Was that true? Is he hurt or was there an issue?
No, he's fine. It was just part of the rotation. He got tired in the second half and just give him a rest.
There you go. Mason Smith, I thought, really set the tone too with that first sack.
Let me say something. He is a great young freshman that's going to be an All-American.
For the most part, after a couple of really tough weeks in the injury column, that's what we talk about offense. Overall, it appeared very positive coming out of the game on Saturday. I mean, it's a physical game. It always is against Florida. But overall, what's the latest on the team's health? How did the team make it out following that game? Any other good news on anybody getting back anytime soon?
You know, we're the healthiest we've been all year. And we came out of that game fine. Nobody's going to miss the game that I know of because of the game against Florida. So we're about as healthy as we've been. We got Ole Miss, and then we got an open date, get other guys that get healed up, and then on to Alabama to finish our season. So we should be pretty healthy down the stretch.
All right, great news. Florida had put up some points this year outside of Kentucky loss, Coach, so you knew the offense had to be able to be productive, and boy, were they. Early in the first quarter, it caught my attention up in the booth that there was Dellinger in what appeared to be an H-back position. We saw a lot of that from Jack Mashburn, but the running game really got going because he had some battering rams there to lead the running attack. Take us through the evolution of what I believe you told Gordy Rush at halftime, jumbo heavy? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it was 12 jumbos. It's two tight ends, but it's a tackle, one tackle at tight end. And we wanted to do that because we lost Keisha Butte. We needed to run the football, and we needed to find an identity in running the football. We thought that could give us an identity. Boy, did it.
No doubt about it. I mean, it was great to hear Jack Mashburn yesterday in the players' press conference. He was talking about being a quarterback in high school, playing different positions, and then saying, hey, I just wanted to come to LSU and play football, and just ask Coach, where do you need me to go? He said, I've been a receiver, been a tight end, now I'm back to a tight end. But he said even when he was a high school quarterback, he kind of liked doing the hitting, maybe more so than most guys do at that position. But what a great story. I mean, he was absolutely a big piece of what happened and how successful he was on Saturday.
You know, his uncle Pat and I were big friends. But the year I had off, I worked out at Pringles, and Pat was out there. And Pat came to my house, we talked about football. Then he called me, he says, you don't look at my nephew. He's at St. Paul, he's a very good football player, so I had him walk on. He walked on, it was Jack. Jack is a tremendous receiver, he has great hands, he's got big and strong, he's a great young man. He's a big key part of our brilliant success on Saturday.
No doubt about it, and you even rewarded him at one point of the game. You let him have his first catch of the season. I mean, I was so used to him lining up to be the lead blocker behind the line of scrimmage, and suddenly I see the ball go out there, and I'm like, wait a minute, I think Jack Mashburn just caught a catch for 7 yards.
Tell him not to get used to it.
Let's go back to the phone lines. Fritzy, you're a little late tonight, but I can't get mad at you. I'm glad you called in. You're on with Coach O.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Coach O.
What's up, Fritzy?
You know, these damn telephones, when they work, they work. But when they don't work, you know what they do. Coach O, ain't nothing changed in our house. We stand with you. And you know that school up north, they pulling out all the stops. They got Manning in the end zone and get right red, fuzzy letters. And let me tell you what, I'm glad they did that, because when our players see them big red letters in the end zone, our players are going to be like bulls, and we're going to ram it in that end zone, and Mike's going to wish he ain't never put that Manning in the end zone, and we're going to get that big fat W, come home, and get ready for the next one. We love it, and we always will. Sometimes.
Oh, you're the best. Hey, I'll see you on Saturday.
Thank you, Fritzy, for the call. Now, Coach, here's the obvious question, maybe the $64,000 question, if you will. Jack Basher's a tight end. Jack Mashburn now is a tight end. Both with different skill sets, both bring unique parts of the game that help this offense for LSU. Is it important moving forward, not trying to get any secrets here, to have both of them on the field at the same time?
Sometimes it'll be separate. It all depends on the plays that we're running. Again, two great young players, Jack Basher's outstanding young freshman. I love to see him play. Everything he does is full speed. He's a great team player, and what an outstanding asset to our football team.
All right, fans, we're going to take a quick break. We come back, we'll talk about this week getting ready. Later, we'll get a scouting report on the Ole Miss Rebels. This is the Ed Orgeron Show. We are live from TJ Ribs right here on the LSU Sports Radio Network. To take on the Ole Miss Rebels, one of the oldest rivalries in the SEC. In fact, it's second for LSU behind Mississippi State. Also second for Ole Miss behind Mississippi State. But these two teams have been playing football, started back in 1894, and the rivalry will be renewed this coming Saturday with kickoff 2:39 p.m. Central Time from Hemingway Stadium. Coach, we've talked about the offense a little bit. We talked about Mashburn's contribution, but we got to talk about Ty Davis-Price and Mike and Alexander, who is always called in, always has a bunch of questions, but he said the number one question he had tonight was talking about TDP. So, Mike, I'll give you the honors.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Hey, Coach.
What's up, Mike?
Hey, man, you doing all right?
Doing great.
Okay, hey, look, Coach, I wanted to congratulate Ty Davis-Price, because, I mean, it's phenomenal. He was selected, like Chris said, SEC and Walter Camp National Offensive Player of the Week, setting a new rushing record for LSU with 287 yards a game on 36 carries and scoring 3 touchdowns. And if it's okay, can I congratulate a couple more?
Go ahead.
Okay, I want to congratulate Mac for passing 133 yards, 3 touchdowns to Greg Jenkins. That's Gina, 318, give him a shout. And I want to congratulate Glenn Logan, because, Coach, I'm telling you, he come back, and I think it fired up the whole team. I think it affected everybody. And we got them 4 interceptions, and the offensive line played the best game of the year. And Coach, I also wanted to say on Matt Corral, he's had at least 21 completions on every game he's played except for Arkansas. He had 14 completions, but he ran for 195 yards. Last week had 231 yards complete on last one. And I want to tell you, watch out for the trick plays from Lane Kiffin, because you know he's slick about that.
I tell you what, nothing gets by Mike. He got it all, Coach, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I need you and Fritzy in the pregame speech before the game.
Coach, Mike brings up a great point. Ty Davis-Price, again, his name now atop the single game rushing record, 287 yards, 36 carries. He was co-offensive SEC Offensive Player of the Week. I got to be honest with you. When you set a single game rushing record at LSU with a great running back that's been here, I don't care what they say. He is the Offensive Player of the Week in my book. Fantastic performance.
What a great job he's done, getting his best shape he's been, sticking with it. Kevin Faulkner did a great job of coaching Ty Davis-Price. I think he'll be the first one to tell you that his offensive line was fantastic in this game. Durant basically went play the counter track. Yeah, he was very, very patient. He let the guys get their blocks. He was very patient. He made some great cuts. But when he ran the football, he ran with authority. And that was the difference in the ball game.
A couple of shout-outs here. I mean, Ty Davis-Price, he's carrying the load for you, as we said, 36 carries, 287 yards. At one point there in the fourth quarter, Coach, it's 42-42. Game is tied. He's tearing off 13 yards here, 18 yards there. He finally has to get a rest. He had 5 running plays in a row. You're looking at 3rd and 4. This is a drive you have to continue. You have to find a way to score to get the lead. And I got to tip my cap to Josh Williams. He comes in on that 3rd and 4. Same type attack. The offensive line gives him the hole. He goes 24 yards, puts you at the 9-yard line.
Yeah, Josh has been a tremendous football player for us. He's kind of solid. We don't talk about him much. But we use him on 3rd down. He's a great blocker. And 3rd down, he's an outstanding young man, outstanding guy.
No, I was thrilled. Watching him run, I thought, you know what? Ty Davis-Price needed a breather, got a breather, and Williams delivers. Then you get down there around the goal line. This is when this was so much fun to watch. Everybody in the stadium, everybody on the Florida sideline, everybody on the Gators defensive front said, okay, it's 4th down and goal at the 1 in a tie ball game. This is going to Ty Davis-Price. I got to believe the call from Florida was, hey, everybody on the team tackle Ty Davis-Price. It was a great play call, executed nicely by Max Johnson.
That's exactly what happened. They came off of both edges. I got to give credit to JP. He called the play. He says, Coach, you want to run? I said, it's your call. And when he said he was throwing the ball, I had my fingers crossed me out. And then when I saw Max, I was going to sag on it. And then I saw Durant on the comeback, and I thought it was a fantastic comeback.
Yeah, I thought it was incredible because I noticed when I was calling the play, Jure motions from the left. He was on the left side wide out. He motions across. Again, I paid no attention to it because I thought Ty Davis-Price is in the backfield. He's getting the ball. Max did a great job selling the fake, but then to get away from that pressure from the backside, then get set and make that pass. Boy, it was a thing of beauty.
It was tremendous. Most quarterbacks would have got sacked there. That's tough. He's a good athlete. He made a good play.
Ty Davis-Price, as I said, deserved SEC Offensive Player of the Week. I'm not into the co-Offensive Player of the Week. No disrespect to Matt Corral, but Damone Clark, Coach, fitting how that number 18 kind of seals the deal for you on Saturday with the interception. You got great pressure. Again, Anthony Richards on his back foot throws it high into the air. But when it went up and I looked down and I saw number 18 there, I said, there's not anybody on Florida's team that's going to get their hands on this ball.
Yeah, he's a competitor. One of the things that we talked about was the one that he had to get better using his hands, had to get better open field tackles, had to get better pass coverage. And boy, has he improved in all those areas. He's one fantastic linebacker for us right now.
I know you're concentrating on the game coming up this Saturday against Ole Miss. It's the biggest game of the year because it's the next game on the schedule. But I know you've had some big wins, monumental wins here at LSU. But how much fun was it? What was it like after the win on Saturday? Just the way the game played out.
I'm happy for the players and the coaches. I mean, they busted their tail all week and they give it everything that they got. And to see them in the locker room happy, that's all I need. I'm just happy for the players, the coaches, and the fans.
Well, I had a blast. Did you guys have a blast? Real quick before we go to break, let's go to Steve and Denham. He says he had a blast. Steve, you're on with Coach O.
Hey, Coach O, I just want to tell you, love you, my brother.
Thank you, man.
You're such a great representative of Louisiana State University. But even more than that, you're a great ambassador for the great state of Louisiana. And forever, we will hold you in our hearts. And Coach O, I want to tell you, I took a 15-year-old kid to his first LSU football game. And we got there early. We watched you walk down the hill. We did the whole 9 yards. We got in there at the stadium early audio that day, and he had such a great time. And what a great win, Coach. I was there in '97 when we upset Spurrier. I wasn't there in 2007, but I'll tell you what, Coach, we surely love you, and it was a great game. And look, go to heck, Ole Miss, go to heck.
I'm glad the 15-year-old daughter. I hope he learned how to do the gator jump in the head.
Thanks, Steve, for the call. We're going to take a break. Now we're going to put Florida in the rear view. We're going to talk about Ole Miss. It's coming up this Saturday in Oxford, so stay with us. Much more to come right here. The Ed Orgeron Show live from TJ Ribs on the LSU Sports Radio Network.
LSU Tiger fans are
Time to go to the live fan question here inside TJ Ribs. I believe up first tonight we got Mike. Mike, your question for Coach O.
What's up, Coach? All right, everybody knows that Lane Kiffin comes in with a great offensive mind, and when you came here, when you took over as head coach, you wanted to run the spread. You brought in Joe Brady. Could you compare, and now you have Pete's trying to run the same thing, compare like the spread that LSU runs compared to Lane Kiffin's?
Yeah.
Everybody's got a little bit difference, you know.
Yeah, he runs the ball a little bit more than our offense, the spread offense. He's more of a wheel and a sluggo and kind of sets everything up with the run. And our spread offense with Joe Burton, everything was set up with the pass.
All right, thank you, Mike. Now I think we got Ed. Ed from right here in Baton Rouge. Ed, what do you got, Coach O?
Coach,
Yeah, man.
you enjoyed your stay here?
Thank you.
Hate to see you leave. But and I'm not a gambling man, but I got a question. How many points do we have to score to win?
One more point than them.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
All right, Miss Jeannie, who I think on social media, were you the homecoming queen this past Saturday? Did I see that somewhere?
I'm self-appointed homecoming.
Oh, okay.
Every
Well,
year.
congratulations.
For the last 25 years.
Okay,
yes,
great,
Thank you.
great.
I reign with honor.
Oh, I got it.
Anyway, Coach. Laughing.
I'd vote for you, Miss Jean.
Oh, thank you. Well, the offense has their identity. It seems like the last game and a half in. The running game seems to be going well, the offensive line. So my question to you is, when are you going to get, I know against Ole Miss's defense it probably won't matter that much, but get some of the wide receivers to do more motion so that the defense is caught up a little guard instead of sitting there waiting to attack?
I had that conversation every Thursday morning with my offensive coordinator because you've been on my behind about it. So let it come. Maybe after open day we can do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. All right, there he is. Boy, oh boy, he was fantastic last week. Let's see what he offers this week. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Evil Twin.
Coach, adversity does not build character. It reveals character. My twin brother and myself have not missed a home game in 40 years, and I can tell you this. I don't think I've ever been as proud of an LSU team and coaching staff as I was last Saturday.
Thank you.
You know, Coach, in a world of quitting and opting out and transferring, lots of people thought we should all just give up, okay? But you told us last week you weren't going to give up, and you didn't give up, your team didn't give up, your coaching staff didn't, Tiger Stadium didn't give up. It looked like Tiger Stadium at 11 o'clock at night, huh? It was great. Coach, I know we haven't had the greatest year, but you know what? In the words of Winston Churchill, when it came to character, this was our finest hour.
Thank you.
And I can tell you.
Thank you.
Coach, I left the game so happy. I felt like those people that were hoarding toilet paper during the pandemic. Sitting on the throne, smelling like a rose, while Florida was sticking the whole damn place up. In their sissy blue shirts. Yes, I said it too, Coach. I'm with you. Coach, I have a question. It's a question about Mr. Mashburn, so I wanted to ask you about the offensive line. We say we've seen dramatic improvement. What are all the things that have gone into improving this offensive line? Because it doesn't look like the same unit at all.
I think it took a little while. They got a new coach. Offensive line, they got to have consistency. They got to be doing the same thing. as a team. Those five got to work as a team, communication, techniques, and the new offensive line coaches come in July. Who's a great offensive line coach, but his teaching's just a little bit different. It takes a while to get used to. And then we don't have a whole offensive line to practice together until 2 weeks ago. So I think it's a combination of that, and then us finding the plays that we can run well without tailbacks and work in tandem. And you saw it. We ran the counter play, must have ran it 25 times, and those guys did an excellent job. One guy that really had a good game is Ed Ingram. Man, the way he was pulling in with some dominating blocks, and I'm so happy for those guys because they came back to do well, to go in the NFL and have a good career. And the way they're playing now, I think they will. Go Tigers.
All right, well, thank Mike, Ed, Sweeney, and Eagle Quinn. We're going to take a timeout. We come back. We've got a few minutes left. We're going to get a scouting report in depth from Coach O on Ole Miss, so stay with us. Back right after this on the LSU Sports Radio Network. Back here, our final segment of this week. Head coach Ed Orgeron. The Tigers heading to Oxford, take on Ole Miss. Very important game. The Tigers now above 500, looking to keep the streak going against the Rebels. It will be a tough challenge. One of the top teams, obviously, offensively in the country. And Coach, before we break down the personnel for Ole Miss, you know, Coach Palmineri and I used to do a show here his time in baseball, and he had a lot of coaches who he coached with or played with him, and he always talked about how you got to go after each other for that period of time, but it's not something you have a lot of fun with. Obviously, you've got a good friendship, a good relationship with Lane Kiffin. I know you'll put that aside. He will put that aside for 3 hours. But from a guy that you've worked with, kind of know some of the tendencies, is it easier to plan for, or is it harder to plan for because they know you know?
Well, this is a completely different offense than we had at USC, so this is nothing like we had at USC. We're pro style, we huddle up now. They don't huddle up, they hurry up. I mean, this is the fastest offense. He ran 105 plays last week. Yeah. The guy's a dynamic play caller. Monty Kiffin was his daddy. He was born with a football in his hand. He's a very smart football coach, one of the brightest minds in football today.
Coming off a win at Tennessee in Knoxville last week, another game in which they had to kind of outscore their opponent. That's happened on a couple occasions this year, but they're putting up a lot of points. That's one thing for sure. And I was going to ask you, coming off last week's win over Florida, where you kind of knew you had to be able to match them point for point, score for score. Defensively, you know, what are the biggest challenges against the style of offense that they put out?
We got to stop the run. I think this guy runs the football. And then running backs run very hard. Matt Corral runs the ball very hard. And then as soon as you light up on the run, the wheel routes, the slug goes, he tries to get the ball deep over your head. This guy's a great game day caller. We have to be on our toes the whole game.
You know, I was watching the film on Sunday, kind of went back and watched the Tennessee-Ole Miss game, and they kind of gave, for whatever reason, a lot of gaps to Matt Corral. And he ran the ball time and time again. How do you try to defend a guy like that when you know he can beat you with the pass and also tuck it and run?
Yeah, well, you're going to have to get after. You have to get after. You got to hit him early, hit him fast, and then you have to be in your pass rush legs and not let him run the football on us and not give him a lot of time to throw the football deep.
You look at the receiving core, and again, as you pointed out, a lot of people will simply say, well, you know, when you play Ole Miss, you got to be ready to cover the passing game. That's a misnomer because they run the ball as well as they do, not only with Matt Corral, but the running backs, and they've got three pretty good ones. But in the passing game, you know, what challenges are the linebackers trying to cover people as well as your secondary?
The backside of the backfield, the rear routes, having a tight end, the pop pass to the tight end, he did a great job of running an isolation play with the tight end. He fakes like an isolation play. It hits the tight end right over the middle. It's all gadgets, but it's all things that Lane knows with defense runs. He's going to look at the explosive plays that we've had around defense. He's going to run again to make sure we can defend it.
You've seen some pretty good offensive lines this year. Your defensive guys up front, obviously against Auburn, a team that can run the football well. Florida's a team that can run the football well. When you look at this Ole Miss offensive line, what is it that brings the biggest challenges?
It's a good unit. They do a great job in their blocking scheme, but the offense is snapping the ball so fast that the defense, you had got to get your cleats in the grass. And they try to wear the defense out by going so fast. That's the whole key to the spread offense.
Obviously, you had success at LSU running tempo. You know what it can do to a defense. Substitutions become an issue.
Yes.
Staying fresh, keeping fresh legs. How do you try to combat that? What do you do when a team is running at that speed?
Well, you can only substitute when you're on your side. You can't substitute when they're on the other side now. So you got to pick and choose your spots to run guys in, run guys out. The biggest thing is on third down, you can't put the nickel package in. You can't put your dime package in because there's not enough time to substitute. He always stays the same personnel, so you can't substitute.
Let's talk about the defense a little bit. That was kind of the storyline in Oxford this year is, hey, the offense is going to be even better because Matt Corral is returning. You've got several pieces of the weaponry coming back on the offensive side. But defensively, we're going to be better. When you put the tape on and watch Ole Miss's defense, A, are they better, and B, why are they better?
Well, he went to Iowa State, runs the Iowa State defense. He and I talked about it. It's a 3-3 stack. They're very multiple. They can blitz, they can play man turns, they can play zone, they can get after you. But we're going to have to run the football in this defense. That's what this defense has a lot of ways stopping the run. We're going to have to run the football very effectively to keep the ball away from his offense.
One of the oldest things I've heard about the game of football, I know you've said it before, you've heard it before, the best defense is an offense that keeps the football. And one of the things from the Florida game on Saturday that impressed me was the long, sustained drives. How big is that going to be on Saturday?
Time of possession is critical, but I hope we don't get into a game where we have to score every time we touch the ball. And those are the games that you don't want to get into because then you just can't run the football. You have to throw the football. Another category that's very impressive last week, +4, we +5 in the turnover ratio. He's +5 in the turnover ratio. The team that runs the ball well, the team that wins the turnover battle, usually will win the game.
Again, Vaught Hemingway Stadium will be the site. 2:39 is the kickoff. LSU and Ole Miss this week in practice. Do you get a sense similar mood to last week?
I get a sense of confidence. I think that we can run the football. I thought clear was glad that Glenn Logan's back. I think these guys understand that this is a big game for Ole Miss. We're playing at their place. It's going to be loud. But we like that. We enjoy it. It's a 2:30 p.m. game on CBS, a big-time game. Our guys will be ready to go.
I'm not going to ask you about the gadget bag, but the caller asked earlier. I mean, you got to be kind of ready for anything. Is that true, or is that a misnomer that when you take on Lane Kiffin, expect the unexpected?
Well, it's not really a gadget. It's part of his offense, but it's I'm gonna fake a slant and go. I'm gonna fake a stop route and go. He's gonna see where you overplaying something, and he's gonna call something that hurts him.
Team is going to be traveling up, I know, on Friday. Your thoughts on the team, the way they've traveled so far this year?
Excellent. We're going to beautiful Tupelo, Mississippi for the second time. We'll stay in the Holiday Inn up there and have a splash.
No doubt about it. Well, Coach, again, thank you for your time, always coming out here, answering questions. And congratulations on the win last Saturday. And looking forward to keeping that winning streak against Ole Miss coming up on Saturday. Know it's going to be a battle, but I know you guys, you'll have them ready coming up around 2:39.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for all the fans that have been here, all the fans that are on the show tonight. And thank you for all the fans that will be in Oxford, Mississippi on Saturday.
No doubt. No doubt about it. There's going to be some Tiger fans make their way up there. Take over the Grove, in fact. Pull the party up there. Fans, that's going to wrap things up for us here tonight on the Ed Orgeron Show. I want to thank all of you for coming out here to the restaurant, all of you listening wherever you are tonight on the radio, on streaming, on satellite radio, wherever you are. Thanks to the staff that takes care of us and takes care of you. Stan Catron, our engineer here at TJ Ribs, and the straw stirring the drink back in the Capital One Studios, Mr. Brian Haldane. Thanks to Coach Joe for joining us. And until this Saturday afternoon from Vaught Hemingway Stadium, this is Chris Blair saying, so long, everybody, and go Tigers.